Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Watch Stuff with Us. My name is JD, and that right there is my main man, Steve, and we are going to be talking about and discussing the Michael 2026 biopic that dropped, 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, just about 2 weeks ago now. So yeah, man. Well, no, that was last week. Yeah, so a little more than a week ago. A little more than a week. There we go. I think that's right. But yeah, so we're going to talk about and discuss that movie today. If you are watching right now, whether you're watching us live, whether you're watching us after the fact, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop those comments, and jump in the chat and let us know what you think. So, the Michael Jackson biopic. Needless to say, on Watch Stuff with Us, we have done a lot of content and coverage of this movie. It has been a big driver of content for the channel, a big driver of statistics for the channel, I should say. We've gotten tons and tons of subs, tons of views. Over the last 2 months, we've gotten over 20,000 views just on those videos alone. So that's really cool to see. And I thought that it would be best to get somebody else who has seen the movie to be able to come on and discuss the movie with me. So, all that being said, let me jump to this screen right here, and we will discuss our reviews of the movie. Steve, since you are our honored guest, I will let you go first. What did you think of the Michael movie?
Well, before I start, I seen you and Katie's out of theater review. I
Yes.
enjoyed your review.
Yes.
And I seen it. You remember, like we talked about this. My
Yes.
intention was to see this a lot earlier. I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to see it a lot earlier. I had a chance to see it in Gary, like an advanced screening, and could make it. And then my schedule that first week out just kept getting. I didn't really get to see it till the Saturday after the Friday release, and so I tried to tune everybody. I tried to tune everything out. I really do. That's why I try to see these movies as early as possible because I really want to tune everything out. I had sort of some of the things that I figured that the movie was going to go already in my head, and I was trying to tune that out going into the movie. And so it's I really try to see these movies as early as possible. Um, I knew before I went to it. I was like, I bet you, I'm telling you, this is a movie where the audience is going to feel very different from the critics. I just knew it. I knew it. I'm like, this is going to be a movie where it's just going to be different. I heard some, I seen and read some of the early reviews, and I said, yeah, this is going to be one of the movies where the critics might go one way, the audience might go the other way. And I'm somebody that I could be both. I could go in there as an audience, or I can go in there with full critic hat on. And so when I went in and finally got to see it, um, I watched it and I left the theater after watching the movie, um, feeling I was excited. It was about what I thought it would be. It was a nice celebration of life. I thought that the movie definitely. I was excited throughout the movie. It wasn't really a boring. It was a fast paced 2 hour movie, um, and I was aware there was only so much they could do with that 2 hour window. With someone that lives such a captivating life, it's very difficult to do that. The movie ended about where I thought it would end. I think that's where we predicted that it would end around bad, and that's exactly what it did. Um, and these are things that I'm sure you've heard every critic say. I think Jafar did a really good job of making us feel like he was Michael Jackson. Because a good point, there's good pieces in that film. I thought he nailed it. Definitely the voice, the look. I felt like I was looking at Michael Jackson. It was definitely great casting to put him in it as that role because he nailed it. I thought Coleman Domingo was a strong casting. He was a strong he was a strong voice in the movie. I'm gonna get into some of the issues I have with him in a moment. Um, but that was about it. Where I thought the casting strengths were. I thought the movie did a really good job of making you think the actors were those people. Lorenz Tate looked just like Barry Gordy. The actor that played Quincy Jones escaping me at the moment. He looked like Quincy Jones. They did a really good job. Nia Long looked like middle-aged Katherine Jackson. They nailed that part, right? They really did. And so you did feel that way. I thought the music and the music videos, for the exception of Thriller, the Thriller one was a little weird to me, but Beat It was perfect. Beat It was perfect.
Agreed.
Perfect. Like I loved it. And it wasn't just Michael. It was it was like the character, the main dancers behind him, like the one that had that white jumpsuit on.
Look just like the dude.
He looked just like him. I went with my daughter and I just started like laughing. Like, that dude looks just like him. And so they nailed that part. As he go into the bad concert, that last the closing part of the movie, they nailed that part. They nailed the Motown 25th anniversary. That was absolutely amazing. Um, and and that alone right there made the movie worth watching. And that's where I think that I understand why the audience is just raving about the movie because it's an exciting movie. I left there like, man, that was really really good. Now I want to explain where the critic in me had some issues with the movie.
Sure.
The first problem I felt like was I thought the movie it's hard to it's going to be difficult to in a 2 hour movie, and I know they're going to probably do a sequel, and I know a good portion of that third act they had to remove, right? And so I know they're going to probably do something else. It's making a lot of money. It's on pace to make $1 billion, so I know they're going to probably do something else. Um, but I don't think I would have. I don't even think I would have focused on his childhood very much because I think you have to rush through that so quick, and I mean they rushed through it.
They did.
Because
They
the
did.
transitions from it was like, okay, we're in 1979. Whoa, we're in
Right.
1984. Well, it was like they transitioned through that quickly. I think even younger Michael Jackson fans know that story. If you're in your 30s, 40s, you watched the Jacksons, An American Dream. That you know the childhood Gary to Motown story. I think I would have taken it from like the beginning of like 1979 as he's preparing for Off the Wall and going into that peak of success going into Thriller. And you ended in that bad, like right before bad, like they did. But I would have started it like right before Off the Wall and ended it like right before bad. And I would have focused that 2 hour window on that instead of rushing through his childhood and kind of just getting through some things and doing that. The next issue I had was the characters weren't nuanced at all. And that was something that triggered me.
That was something that we both talked about that we wanted.
Yes. I feared when they were casting Coleman Domingo, love him, that they were going to go hard, and I mean real hard, on making Joe Jackson this antagonistic character, right? He had to be the villain in the movie, and in doing that, I thought I'm trying to use my words nicely, but I thought they made Joe Jackson into a toilet seat.
Yep.
Like they just like there was no nuance in there.
Yep.
And we can get into that, like Joe, yeah, he had his faults, but I explain him as a character. I mean, explain him as a person. Who was Joe? Yeah, a manager, and maybe as the Michael Jackson's manager, as the group's manager, he made mistakes. He was too hard on him, but he was still a father that cared. I didn't see that at all in this movie. And then Michael was just like angelic throughout the movie. angelic, and I don't want. They didn't need to go into like the tabloid stuff that was starting to pop up in the 80s about Michael Jackson. I don't think they need to do that. But who was he as a person? Because what happened in the movie, you're just telling me things that either if you're in your 60s, you clearly experienced. Even if you're in your 30s and 40s, like we are, you knew about. Like these things were very. This is Michael Jackson. All these things are well detailed. We know he got his hair burned. We know he bought a monkey. We know this. My daughter is 7 years old. She knows he had a monkey. Like these are some of the things that we know about Michael Jackson. What don't I know about Michael Jackson?
Right.
We know he liked affirmations. They kind of got into that. He would write notes to himself and stick it on the wall. He had some self-confidence issues. That's a story. Explain more of that.
Mm-hmm.
How can the biggest star in the world doubt themselves so much?
Yes, and
That's a story.
not just because his dad was abusive toward him. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, yep,
Exactly.
yep,
How can somebody that women were screaming all over the world that loved them, but when he looked in the mirror, sometimes didn't see that? That's a story.
yes,
Explain that more.
yes, yes.
So I wanted to see. I love the retelling, and that in itself is enough to get you in the theater, and it's worth the watch. If you're watching this right now, go see it. If you haven't seen it already, it's worth it because of that. But I didn't get the story. And so a biopic like this is not this wasn't Ray to me. This wasn't I did this wasn't Ray, this wasn't Rocket Man, the Elton John story. Wasn't the one like the Queen movie they did on Queen. That one's Freddie
Bohemian
Mercury. That one
Rhapsody.
Right, exactly. Bohemian Rhapsody. It wasn't on that level. While I thought it was just as exciting, to me, it lacked storytelling. It lacked the transitions were too much. I thought, with the exception of Coleman Domingo, who played the role he was that was written for him, I thought he did a good job for this. I don't want to take anything away from him. He played that role of being like the evil antagonist character, although it got to the point where it felt very 90s cartoon villain. I'm sorry, it started to get to that point. Um, I thought I thought Jafar Jackson did an amazing job as Michael, at least the look of it. But I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more acting. I wanted to see more of who Michael was at that time. Because, like all of us, we go through periods in our life where we change. What was
Hmm.
Michael? What was he like at that point in time?
You know
I
what?
didn't get.
One thing that I could say with that too is that and I was wondering what Latoya's purpose was in the movie, and I
Yes.
think that they could have used her to be that person. So just and they did it a little bit. They did it a little bit, but not enough. They could have used her as more of a sounding board for Michael. And
Hmm.
like as his way of speaking to the audience would be him talking to her and him having
Hmm.
conversations with her and like just saying what you literally just said. Like, I have thousands of women, looking at me and they love me, and I have all these people who care about me, but when I look in the mirror I hate myself. Like, they literally could have done that, and it would have said so much. You could have accomplished. You could have knocked that off. You could have checked that box and could have had that done, and just build a scene around that and her trying to, maybe trying to lift him up and him still doubting himself, and even, maybe even getting angry,
Hmm.
with himself, uh, to that point. And I don't think that takes much time. The scene where they were in his bedroom and they were like sitting on the floor, you could have
Yeah.
done that right
Yes.
there. You could have had that
Yes.
sort of heart to heart right there and accomplished a lot. Um
Yeah. Yes.
and
Exactly.
I yeah,
Exactly. But
yeah,
then I
yeah.
think correct me if I'm wrong. I think during that thing, like Joe just comes in and just tells her, Latoya, get up out of here. Get up out of
Right.
here, Latoya. Like
Yep. Yep.
it
Yep.
was a missed opportunity to me. I
Yep.
think you nailed it. You could have did a lot with Latoya. We know during that period of time, like you're saying, and I know Janet didn't. She didn't. She agreed not to be part of the movie.
Right.
But we know at this point in time, that his relationship, his connection with his brothers, because at this point they're all married and moving out,
Mm-hmm.
his connection with the brothers started to fade. His connection with the two sisters, Latoya and Janet, grew.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that we could tap into. And it wasn't there because it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, I don't think they were trying to give a story. It was just
Mm-hmm.
sort of like retelling events that
Right.
most
It was
casual Michael Jackson fans know.
right. Right. Is there anything else before I jump in and start
Go,
talking
go.
more?
No, I talked
Um,
long. Go.
no, that was good. That
Go.
was great, bro. That was great. One thing that I can say, sort of piggybacking on that and everything that you said, I completely agree with. You know, shocker. Me and you see eye to eye on almost everything when it comes to entertainment, sports, all of this type of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
um, just watching the movie, it felt like the TikTok version of Michael Jackson's life. Like
Yes.
this was the Wikipedia opening paragraph of Michael Jackson's life, where you have
Mm-hmm.
12 sentences to explain everything, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all you got. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the one thing that, well, that was one of the things that made me not like the movie as much. Like you said, going into this movie, I was beyond excited for it. I saw a few of the critical reviews come out, and I didn't read them. I just like looked at the headlines. I'm like, oh, okay, people don't really like it, or I should say the reviewers don't really like it. Not a shocker, not a shocker, because they're there to judge movies, not to judge not to be a fan of the person who the movie is about. I
Right.
think all of us are fans. If you went there to go watch that movie that opening weekend, going this weekend, obviously you're a big fan of him. Like nobody's gonna go there not being a fan of Michael Jackson. So the movie sold us already. It's sort of like what you have when you do the Marvel content that we watch all the time. It's we're not we shouldn't be the target audience necessarily. We shouldn't, because you already got us. We're gonna go see it regardless. If this movie would have been trash, and obviously the reviews came out and they were trash, and people still flocked to go see it. So I in my fan I enjoyed the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, it's like Michael Jackson's greatest hits.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
you went and checked each box. It was Thriller there, yes. Was Beat It there, yes. Was his Jackson 5 days there, yes. Was Joe Jackson abusive, yes. Was Catherine Jackson a saint, yes. Like it was all the questions and answers that we already knew. I think it lacked depth where
Mm-hmm.
we wanted more. Just like you said, I know this story.
Mm-hmm.
This, to me, this is for someone who is 22 years old
Mm-hmm.
and lived under a rock and still doesn't know anything about Michael Jackson. All they know is the memes and the TikToks that they've seen. So
Yeah.
this is good for them because they probably didn't know that Michael had an abusive father. They probably didn't know that he was an artist even when he was younger. So this was good for them. But it could have lacked, or it could have gave us hardcore fans a little bit more of what we wanted. The music video aspect of it hit. Like those things were beat for beat, note for note.
Oh yeah.
It was perfection as far as that's concerned.
They nailed
Jafar's
that.
performance was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Like there were
Mm-hmm.
times where I looked at it and I could not tell the difference between him and Michael. Like I was so absorbed into his performance and his look and his voice and his acting that I was like, that's Michael. And that is all you can ask for as far as that type of performance is concerned. There was nothing in that made it stick out like, oh, I don't know, I don't think he's doing it right here.
Right.
There were a lot of times where I looked at him like in the teen years where I was like, oh, that's Jermaine. Like
Yeah. I did too.
like
I wasn't
not
going to
really
say this.
Michael, but that's Jermaine.
That was my only issue with it. That was my only issue with it. And it's
Yeah.
like if I didn't know that, if I didn't know any, we didn't know Jermaine at Jackson at
Hmm.
all. I would, my mind would have went there because I
Yep.
know Jermaine. It was a lot
Yep.
of times, like you said, especially I guess that would have been like 79, 80. They were documenting
Yes.
the movie.
Yes.
It's like that's Jermaine Jackson.
Yes, yes, yes. Like he's looking just like his dad. Like you
Like that's
couldn't, you couldn't.
serious. That's what I was thinking.
Yep,
Like
yep. You
so yeah, I
couldn't.
was with you on that.
Yeah, you couldn't play that part off. But
Right.
um, the greatest hits aspect of the movie was there. Like you said, I throughout the movie enjoyed it, but I didn't really feel it until the very end in the bad performance. And
Yeah.
like him walking down that hallway with the black and the
Yes.
buckles on and
Yes.
all that and the white t-shirt and the jacket and the hair and he turned sideways and
Hmm.
like looked at somebody before he walked out. I was like,
Hmm.
oh my, like I'm getting kind of emotional thinking about it.
Hmm.
Like
They killed it.
that got me. That got me. I was like, oh yes, yes. And then he started doing the performance and stuff.
Hmm.
People was in the theater like singing, dancing, clapping, standing up. Like yeah, like that was the point that really got me. That sold me. I hate that it happened at the end, but that sold me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that aspect of the movie was great. I truly enjoyed that part of the movie. As far as the things that I didn't enjoy, I'm right there with you on the portrayal of Joe Jackson. Like, come on, man, come on. We wanted something that was more nuanced and not just a one beat villain. Like literally, I have another screen that I'm gonna share real quick. I don't know how much of it you can see, but if you go on villains Wikipedia, like
Yeah.
Joe Jackson is listed on there. Like that tells you all you need to know about Joe Jackson and his portrayal. I
Hmm.
really like they could have all okay. This is I hate that I watch so much TV and we watch so many movies and I know you feel the same way. But we watch these things and I just feel like one scene is missing. Like you can just add one scene in and it would satisfy so many different things. You could have had a scene with Mike or not Michael, with Joe and Catherine after the boys, this could have been when they were younger. After they finished practicing in their tiny living room
Hmm.
and Joe goes and sits like he's yelling at him or whatever and oh that's it we're done for the night and send them to their room. They go to their rooms sad. Catherine comes down and sits down and says, Joe, why are you so hard on these boys? And he
Hmm.
could have went into you could have let Coleman be Coleman and kill it and just say how much he cares about them, how he doesn't want them to be what he is, how his father did certain things to him. And yes, I'm hard on these boys, but I see the best in them. We have the best. Like, I mean, and he could have acted his behind off, and that right there would have gave us the little bit that we need to understand why Joe did some of the things he did and not leave it into the void into the TikTok world that oh he's just a bad guy. Like
Yeah.
no, because I know
Yeah.
that nuance had to be there. I know
Yeah.
that deep down inside he did care, and it probably wasn't deep down either. Like it was there.
Mhm.
There's no way that he was doing all this stuff and training them and working with them if somewhere in there he didn't really deeply truly care. And
Oh yeah.
they could have just given us that, just get
Yeah.
one scene and let Coleman kill it, like, and then
Hmm.
it would have been done. Like these I always, like I said, we watch so much TV and movies, bro. Like it's this stuff isn't that hard. It isn't
No.
that hard. I feel like you give Coleman 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and just let him talk. And that 3 minutes would have given us everything we needed to know about Joe Jackson, his motivations. And yes, he is a flawed character, but he is not a one note character like what we were given
Right.
in that movie. Um,
Absolutely.
Catherine, I thought Nia Long's portrayal of Catherine was great. I know that she was Michael's shining star. Um, and we got that scene with Michael and Catherine sitting at the kitchen table where she was talking to him and she started like giving him his mantras and all that stuff. We got the scene where Michael was sitting there eating ice cream with Catherine. Like we got that character development between them. There needed to be more with Coleman. There needed to be
Yeah.
more with Joe. And you can't tell
Yeah.
me that it never happened. You can't tell me that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that I felt was good. We totally nailed, or I should say that I felt wasn't good. We totally nailed where the movie was going to end. Like, we knew that it was going to end right at that bad era. I, for one, felt the movie's length was about perfect. I
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
you got it felt good. It didn't feel like it was short. It didn't feel like it was long. The beginning parts with the Jackson 5 era and the early part, like you said, they blew past that. Like they
yeah,
blew past
yeah.
that stuff. Like I would have loved to have seen a scene where the boys are in school
Hmm.
and how Michael was when he interacted with kids his own
Hmm.
age. Like
Hmm.
show that he was shy then, show that he got teased then, and it wasn't just his dad calling him big nose. Like you could have given us so much, and like these things don't take much time. It just takes the foresight and the thought to know that you need to add nuance to these characters. So
Yeah.
like yeah, man, like I know we're after the fact. I totally understand that. We coming in after the fact, but I feel like there's so much that you can do, and I would love if somebody would let me view these movies ahead of time, and then give these directors some feedback and let them know what they can do to just round out their movie. Because I, not to say that this was a bad movie, I really enjoyed it,
I did
but
too.
it could have been rounded out and more of a full featured, full fledged movie. And this is why on Rotten Tomatoes, as you can see on here, it has a 38% tomato meter and a 97% popcorn meter. Because yes,
Hmm.
it's a movie's movie, but it's not a good film.
Right, right.
It's not a good film. And one other point, I totally understand why they made this into a TV movie. I totally get it because you could spend so much more time on some of the smaller things and some of the smaller
Hmm.
aspects because you had 4.5 5 hours to play with as opposed to 2 hours to
Hours.
play with.
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
And yeah, like I get it, I totally get it. So I'm really hopeful that as we proceed and we get more more opportunity, that they're going to learn what they did wrong with this movie and what they can go back and add for the next one. um
Yeah.
yeah, switching topics real quick, just a little bit, and I think I just wanted to look at this article real quick, and we talked about it already, but it says Michael working day and night, crossing 300 million worldwide to become number 2 musical biopic ever at the box office. Lionsgate Michael crossed 300 million today around the globe. Will unseat Warner Brothers' 8-time Oscar-nominated Elvis with 288 million as the number 2 musical biopic ever, just behind Bohemian Rhapsody, 911 million, which also produced by Michael producer Graham King. So it's already slotted in the number 2 spot. So 911 million is the mark. Do you think that this movie will surpass that 911 million mark that was made by Bohemian Rhapsody a few years ago?
Absolutely. It won't be easy, but it'll get there. It
Yeah.
definitely will get there. I do think. I think I predicted this. It was going to be $1 billion movie. I still think that it's going to be $1 billion movie. I still know a lot of people that want to see it that still haven't seen it yet. They're going to see it. And then this is Michael Jackson's the person that I don't think the critic reviews are going to slow it down. They're not going to slow the audience down. And another thing that they have in their favor. I haven't looked at the full deck of release movie releases, but putting it out in April going into May, you have a period of time where I don't think there's going to be any major competition coming in. I gotta look at the full deck, but they might have a couple of weeks where they can really rack up the audience numbers, before you start getting into that to the June movie thing. So that was good marketing too. Like you put it in at a time where you can get the numbers going before you start getting a lot of more cinematic releases.
Yes, yes. I'm looking at a updated figure on the side over here that says it's already crossed 413 million worldwide. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's I don't really have too much of a doubt that it's gonna get to to that $1 billion mark. Like you said, we said this beforehand. We called it. There are too many fans. Like when I was sitting there watching a movie, like there was a lady 2 seats over from me and Katie, and she was crying. Like she was crying during the movie. Like I got at certain points I got emotional. Like I said, watching the bad part at the end, like I started getting emotional. Like this man has connected with people like none other. And that's one of the reasons why it's going to make the money that it is going to make.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very happy that it's been successful, because if this hadn't been successful, we it would hurt the genre of the musical biopic. And I feel like
Oh
that
yeah.
there are so many of them that I would like to see. Just thinking of, black artists, like Prince. You can't tell me that they can't make a great Prince movie. And that even features, like, you can that even features some of the rivalry that he had with Michael Jackson. Like this, it's just that movie would write itself. Like that movie
That's
would.
next.
Yes, that movie would completely write itself. And would be just as good, just as impactful if done correctly.
Oh yeah.
And especially with Prince and his upbringing, and also his characteristics, his look. Prince also had a lot of activists in him. So like I hope they would touch on something like that. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, I'm just very happy that this movie made the amount of money that it did. Very happy that we are going to get a sequel. I know that that's coming. So yeah, I can't wait to see the money rack up. I think it means a lot for the movie business right now. The movie business needs some hits, man.
Oh
They
yeah.
they need some hits
Oh yeah.
bad. So
Oh yeah.
this is one of them. It has worldwide reach, and I'm very excited to see it. Johnny in the chat said James Brown, Marvin Gaye. Oh my God, a Marvin Gaye movie? Come on
Yes.
now,
Oh,
come
definitely
on,
Marvin Gaye. We've kind
come
of done the James
on.
Brown thing, but
Oh my
Marvin
God,
Gaye, yeah, you can
dude,
absolutely
a
put him in.
Marvin Gaye movie
Yeah.
with the way his life ended.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh my God, like that would be
You,
incredible, incredible.
what's going on? Title of the movie
Yes,
already.
yes, yes, yes. And I'm, oh
Perfect
my
title.
man, see, yeah, Johnny, great call on that
Great
one. But yeah,
suggestion.
that's, oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Um, sign me up right now. I'll help. Um, consult on the movie. just ask me. I'm there. I'm there.
And on
Um,
that note, I
mhm.
think I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, go for it.
I actually think Janet Jackson's story to me would be more interesting because I think there's a lot we don't know about her. Trying to establish a career when you're the sister of Michael Jackson and becoming an icon in your own right. That's a great story. You had a
Yes.
secret marriage, maybe a secret
Yes.
child, wink.
Yes.
You get a lot of stuff there. So
Yes. And
that's another one.
that was one of the reasons that I was feeling that she didn't want to be in this movie, because
That's a good point.
she wants to have her own. And
That's a good point.
I do it, man. Do it. And like you said, just to see this, you can tell the same story that you told with the beginning of the Michael movie, and just from a different perspective. And like
Right.
her as a sister seeing this stuff playing out, and
Hmm.
her, in her room practicing,
Hmm.
when her brothers are, out there doing their thing, and her just
Hmm.
being on the sideline, like, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then eventually how she was able to break into stardom, and create herself as an icon, out of her brother's shadow. Like that,
Right.
that story sells itself too. Like
Right.
that's another $1 billion right there. That's another $1 billion easily, easily. Um.
Absolutely.
So yeah. I'm just happy, like I said, that the movie made the money that it made. I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. So speaking of which, um, let's jump into this article that I found on Forbes, and it says what we know about Michael 2 release date, allegations covered. And it says, like Michael Jackson himself, his biopic, Michael, is wildly popular, the fastest movie of the year to cross 100 million in earnings, and is on its way to 400 million in 10 days. $1 billion haul seems in sight, which would make it the highest earning biopic ever. So, how about a sequel? They jump down here to Michael 2 potential release date. New information says that Michael 2 could begin production as early as 2026 or possibly into 2027 as it's relevant on when director Antoine Fuqua is available. He is listed as having a TV show, Sammy the Bull, in production, but also an untitled project with Denzel Washington. But even Denzel may not stop him from making a follow up to the highest earning biopic ever made. I would venture to say that Antoine Fuqua will clear his schedule
Oh yeah,
to get
right.
this movie out there. Um, it says that we can extrapolate out a release date or window if we split the difference. Say production begins in January. The original Michael films filming was delayed because of the SAG-AFTRA strike, but eventually started in early 24, which ended in May 2024 with some reshoots in June. Then the film was released on April 24, 2026, as we just saw. So if production begins at the start of 2027, we're looking at about 28 months for filming and post production. That would put the release almost exactly 3 years from now, April 2029. Honestly, not terrible for a big movie sequel in today's Hollywood. So, my question is this, or at least I'll say my thoughts are this. Um, is the sequel coming? 100%.
Yes.
100%. You don't make a, I don't know how many billion-dollar movies there have ever been that have not had any sort of sequel done after it. So I'm sure that that list isn't very long. But this movie will get a sequel. My thing with the dates that they have listed on here, they're saying like April 2029. I honestly, and I know we talked about this in a previous video. I think 2028 is when you need to strike on that. I
Yeah.
think that's if and I mean I know that that's sort of speeding up that production schedule. But the only reason that I'd say that it should, in my mind, it would be doable is if um they shot big portions of this movie already. They have tons of film from their first original shooting because they went all the way through his life. Like they did everything pretty much
Hmm.
already. So in
Hmm.
my mind, all they would have to do is do some reshoots, add in some scenes to be able to stretch it out to another full feature length movie. Um and I would think that if you could get that production rolling in 2027, all the while you have already begun producing that part of the movie already, doing whatever special effects you need. All of that stuff should be in the process and in the works and happening already. So I would think 2028 would be an amazing time to be able to release it, even if you took it. Now this is like I said, I don't know. I need to look at the theater listings. So we got Doomsday this year, right? And
Yeah.
then Secret Wars is next year, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you 2027 is out. But what I would do is aim for 2028 holiday release. You pull this out, the sequel to the largest biopic ever, $1 billion movie, and you break this out the day after Thanksgiving, like you got it, and then that's gonna roll all the way through the holiday. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how you can't like this. That just makes too much sense to me. That makes too much sense to me. What do you think, man?
My only, I agree. A holiday release. I like a holiday release. This is my only pushback that I'll put out there. Next year, 2027,
Mhm.
the movie ended around the bad era,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Next year, 2027, marks the 40th anniversary of the bad movie.
Mm, mm,
I could see them trying to tie into that. That
yes,
was released what, like in the summer, August, September '87.
yes,
I could
yeah,
kind of see them kind of maybe going into that 40th anniversary release. You can also try to push album sales, get some interest
yes,
in that from a commercial standpoint.
yes.
Um, but I definitely like the holiday release idea.
Yeah, yeah. I think that sort of writes that prints the checks right there.
Hmm.
That's a moneymaker right there. And especially with the way this movie has been successful, I don't see how they can't sort of fast track things to sort of put out the next one if everything has been, if the majority, let's say 70% of the movie has been filmed already.
Mm-hmm.
You just come back, you have Jafar and a few other people come in um to do some pickups, and whatever parts of the story that you need to expound upon a little bit more, you can do that. Um Take some of the critical feedback that you had with this movie and rework some things, add some depth where there needs to be depth, and I think that you can probably crank this out relatively quick. If it's 2029, okay, I get it, but um, I would love to see them sort of fast track it and continue to build on the success of the first movie. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. What do you guys think? Drop it in the comments below. Let us know. Um, yeah. So that's that. I had one more thing, and we've already really talked about it a lot. Um, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to work it in, but the Joe Jackson stuff, the Joe Jackson stuff, and like you said already, like I've said already, we thought that his depiction was not the best. We thought that it was relatively one note. It was one beat. We've talked about what we could do in order to change that.
Mm-hmm.
My question is this: if you're part of the family and your family's legacy involves this person, this character, this this villain, so to speak, how much of his story do you feel needs to be portrayed in a nuanced light? Because we know that this story and it had to get the approval from the Jackson family. It had to
Right.
get approval from his brothers. It had to
Right.
be it was produced by them. So they
Mm-hmm.
were okay with everything that was in this.
Mm-hmm.
How much, and if if you have a parent or a relative who has had a difficult or was difficult in their part of your life, how much of that do you think needs to be more nuanced, or are they okay with it just being one beat and that he's the villain? Because that's kind of how I feel they must feel,
Yeah.
and that they don't want to
Right.
give him any credit.
Right.
And I think for the fact of making a better movie and a better story, that it would be better if he was more more well rounded. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that that needs to be part of it, or do you think that they're probably just okay with the way that it was?
Well, I agree with that. I think they were okay with the way it was. And I don't know if the writers approached them as like, okay, we need we need to make him like this antagonist character. He has to be the antagonist in this. And th- this is how the story is going to go. And if we do it this story this way, this will produce the best results. Right. But what I know from listening, I've listened to a number of interviews from all the brothers outside of Michael. They seem to all have a very different opinion of Joe than Michael did.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Jackie, Tito, may he rest in peace. Marlon, Randy, Jermaine, they all had a very different opinion of Joe than Michael did. Now there could be a story behind that. Joe probably did press Michael more than the rest of them. But you could have explored that more in the story in the movie. So yeah, I think they were probably okay with it. I mean, hey, we got to get this movie made. We need an antagonist in this. So they probably went along with it. However, from what I've heard from their mouths, they felt very differently about Joe, and I wish they would have made him more of the driving force. That without Joe, we probably wouldn't have reached the type of success that we had without Joe. And this is kind of somewhat off topic, somewhat. But I think they kind of also they did Joe wrong as a father, but they did Joe wrong as a businessman too. Joe made a lot of mistakes as a father. He made a lot of mistakes as a businessman, but he did a lot of good in both of those too.
Oh yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
removed them out of Motown before Motown could destroy them, because Motown would have destroyed them. They would have kept them in that sort of like ABC era,
Yep.
and they
Yep.
never would have blossomed. They never would have got into songwriting. Michael would have never become the businessman he became with owning your own catalog. Joe put him in there,
He pushed for that. Yes.
pushed for that.
Yes.
Exactly. And then, the movie, even when Sony's the Epic, and then which became Sony, CBS, that conglomerate, they did things to Michael that he complained about for the rest of his life that Joe warned him in the early 80s about. If Joe was probably more connected to Michael as he got into his later life, we probably don't see some of the negative things that Michael experienced in the late 80s and 90s if
Yep.
he had more control over his career.
Yep.
So you take it there.
Yep. Yep. No, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. That's just more of the nuance that we have been wanting. And we know these things happen because we've never been told this, but we can see the results. Like you said, you can see his drive to, own his own music. You can see his drive to own the Beatles catalog. He knew what ownership was. He knew how much that meant to own those things. So by him doing so, he was able to gain control. And who did he learn that from? You know what I mean? Like even if you say that he didn't learn that completely from Joe played some aspect in that. And this isn't, we're not here to be Joe Jackson apologists, but we just want the full story told. And I feel like there's more, and I could hate someone's guts. But if that someone gave me a bead of information that I can use, you better believe I'm going to take it. And when you're going to tell this story, you should tell that part of the story too. And it doesn't take much. It really doesn't take much. And we've went over it before, but it doesn't take much to give a more of a balanced view to someone, as opposed to being able to look him up on the villain Wikipedia and have Joe Jackson like literally show up on here. So, but yeah, I don't think. And now this isn't to say that he was a good person. Like, no, I don't think that he was a good person. But there were some qualities in there that they could have extrapolated and showed us to give the movie and his story more balance. And I think that's all that we were looking for. So, yeah, what do you think? Are we wrong for trying to shine a sort of a different and more nuanced light on Joe Jackson? Are we completely off base? If we are, let us know in the comments below. Appreciate you. All right. Yeah, I think that is about it. What do you have as far as predictions for the sequel? What's some of the things that you want to see? I can if I can talk about it. I want to see more of the realism. I want to see how you don't even have to deal directly with his stress or with the allegations, but I want to see the stress. I want to see how the toll that this stuff took on him, the addiction issues that he had. I need to see those things. I need to see how he was able to still be a musical genius even though he was going through all this turmoil on the outside. The loneliness, I need to see that. I need to understand that. I don't need this next movie to just be the TikTok version of his hits. Again, I don't need to see that. I think you need to change that up a little bit this next go around. I need to see the end. I need to see what what his life was at the very end as he was preparing for This Is It. I need to see his relationship with his doctor. Like literally, like these are things that they need to be able to touch on. And I don't know if you necessarily have to deal you have to deal with the court stuff in a way that is very, very subtle because I know that they had agreed to not touch on those things, for lack of better words. But yeah, you have to be able to handle and discuss those things in a way that addresses it. We can't skirt over it like you skirted over everything pretty much in the first one. Michael was very one beat, one note, like very positive, very often childlike. Give me something else. You gotta hit a different beat this time around.
Mhm.
You gotta. He was not that same person his entire life.
Right,
Um, there's
right.
there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that happened with Michael that even as he was older, his relationship with the black community changed multiple times. There were times where, when Michael was younger, everybody was all about him. As he grew up, everybody continued to be all about him. He turned into the biggest star on the planet. Everybody was about him. Then these allegations start coming out, and people, especially in the
Start
black
to just
community,
right. Start to
yes,
back off.
yep, started to move back. But then as time went on, those allegations, went away for a lack of a better term, and he started to circle back around to the black community more. Like I still
Mhm.
remember him showing up for the BET Awards and giving James Brown his Lifetime Achievement Award, and how
Yeah.
special, like, and it's so crazy because for him to show up on there, it's sort of I don't know what the right word is for it. It validated the black community because
Hmm.
he kind of felt like a son or a brother or a star or an icon that we had lost,
Hmm.
that he was too big for us.
Hmm.
But to see him circle back and come back to that, like that was really cool to see. And I want to see that, like, that can be your part of your redemption arc that you have for him as the movie gets ready to close at the end. But yeah, what do you want to see in a sequel for this Michael movie?
Yeah, for me, it's you nailed pretty much everything I'm hoping to see in that. I want to see how his personality, how Michael the person kind of transitioned from the era from the first movie to the newer movie. How did you transition him? Um, I I wonder. I wonder. I wonder,
Mhm.
will they do this again? If this movie makes $1 billion, and will they attempt to put out a trilogy? Where would it stop?
Right,
Like, do we just
right,
okay? Do we take
right,
this from 88 or 87 to about 93, and
right,
and we move
right.
this? I don't know if they're just going to go straight to the end on this.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
so
I didn't even think about that.
I
Didn't think about
wonder
that.
I wonder if they'll do something else again.
Yeah.
And so I do want to see the how they transition him. I think the bad era changed changed a lot of things. This people start to look at him a little bit differently. One, physically, we start looking at him a little bit differently, and then I think from the black community standpoint, it got to the point even before the allegations got going. it- I think a lot of people felt like they lost him.
Yep. Yep.
And this is like, okay, he's international star now.
Right.
Bad was this international tour. Like it wasn't the Bad tour was international. This is not the kid from Gary, the Motown kid, not anymore. Like if you weren't sure about it after Thriller, you were. It was a definite now that he was something we had never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not going to be, this is not Marvin Gaye, this is not Diana Ross, this is not going to be anybody like that. This dude is something we've never seen before, and I think a lot of people might have got a little salty about that. So that's something else you can explore. So I want to see that. I want to see how they transition him, and I do want them to handle how did he handle the allegation? How did it affect his music, his
Mm-hmm.
psyche?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That part is something that you can dive deep into. And I know that there are layers there. Like we're just talking about music, and we're talking about the allegations. We're not even talking about his love life. Like there's
Right.
a whole that's a whole separate section that we haven't even started talking about. Like we can, his relationship with um
Brooke
what's her name?
Shields,
Yes, Brooke Shields, Diana
Tatum
Ross.
O'Neal,
Yes, Tatum
Diana
O'Neal.
Ross.
Um, what's her name?
Stephanie
Presley.
Mills,
Lisa Marie
Lisa Marie
Presley.
Presley.
Yes.
It's a lot you can go there.
Yes. And that like you can go all the way through. Like you said, that was something I hadn't thought about either too, was that, you could turn this into 3 movies
Hmm.
like real easy, real quick. Like you said,
Hmm.
go from bad right now, and you can end it with the birth of his first child. And then from there you can do a movie from that point on with him as a father, him still producing music, him turning into a person who isn't just an is no longer the icon that he was. How does he deal with the fading sort of star,
Right.
um, and his comeback, his getting ready to do this is it, and then you end it there. Like that would be amazing to me. That would be amazing to me, man. Um, oh, we got the King Michael in the building. What's going on, King Michael, man? Big shout out to you. I know you have dropped so many comments on our videos, man. Big shout out to you. Hold on, I got something for you. I hope you could hear that. It was a big round of applause. But yeah, man, appreciate all of your support on the channel. But yeah, we were just right now talking about the what we were expecting and thinking for the sequel to the Michael movie. So yeah, man, I am very excited for that. I'm very, very hopeful that whenever we get this sequel, it's going to live up to the very, very high expectations that we have for it. So yeah, can't wait for it. What do you guys think? How excited are you for this sequel coming up in 2027, 2028, or whenever it drops? All right, man. I don't know about you guys. I'm not exactly sure where Steve went, but I am very, very, very excited for this this movie. I really enjoyed it, man. It spoke to me in a way that very few movies have. And just knowing that this story was one that you took the best of us. You took a megastar, and you gave us, I would say, 90% of the things that we wanted out of that story being told. And it served as a celebration of his life. That's one thing that Steve said. It served as a celebration of life. It is his amazing highlights of his life. That's what we got. And yeah, I can't speak more on how excited I am to see the rest of the story continue and see what else we get from it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, man. I appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with us. King Michael says the second movie is picking up from the bad era. Yes, picking up directly with the bad era where we ended the first movie. To me, that was the highlight of the movie. That last scene and that last performance of his was amazing, man. It was amazing. King Michael says they wanted to dive deeper, but unfortunately they ran into roadblocks. Yes, they definitely ran into a lot of roadblocks. I hope they're able to overcome those. And I think that please, King Michael, do me a favor, man. We talked a lot. Like, we've been on here a little more than an hour now. Go back and look at our conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts on some of the things that we talked about. Because there was a lot of subtleness and nuance that I think could have been added to the movie that would have made and improved the quality of it. So check that out. I would love to know what you think about it, man. Like I said, you one of the aces when it came to this stuff, man. So I definitely value your comments on that. Oh, Patrick, you heading out, man? Have a good night, man. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. And yes, one more day for Star Wars Day. Yeah, can't wait for that. And King Michael says, I got you, bro. Yes, man. I appreciate you, man, for real. Like I said, your support has been noticed. It has been incredible. And as we sort of wrap up this coverage on Michael Jackson and the movie with this live stream, I'm going to chop this up and put out videos throughout the rest of the week. So yeah, as we sort of end the coverage on, I hope you can stick around the channel. If you see other stuff that you might like, man, feel free to chime in. Like I said, I value you, bro. So yeah, I appreciate it, man. Because I know a lot about the behind the scenes, so I'll check it out. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. That's why I need you. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We will be back later on this upcoming week to cover the penultimate episode of Daredevil Born Again, and then the 6th episode of season 5 of The Boys. Those are on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. So and then coming up soon, we got a few other shows that we're going to start. We got Spider-Man Noir that's starting later on in the month. We'll be covering and watching that and doing live stream watch parties for that too. So yeah, and then once the summer really hits, I think in June is when Game of Thrones House of the Dragon season 3 starts. So we'll be watching that live and on stream as well. So yes, I appreciate all of you guys. Please, on your way out, if you're not done so already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop those comments. And just know that Watch Stuff with Us will be in the mix in 2026. My name is JD, and I will see you when I see you. Oh, and for my main man, Steve, much love. Appreciate you, bro. I will see you when I see you. Peace and love. The stream is over. The stream is over. I'm gonna start doing this every time now. Once the stream is over, just talk for a little bit longer. I hope y'all have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good May. And continue to hang out with Watch Stuff with Us. I'll see you guys.